So, so right now we're going to do a quick demonstration of the tool that we discussed in our original presentation, and we wanted to make sure that everybody who got a chance to, everybody who, even those who weren't here, will get a chance to kind of see the tool. Let's see what it can kind of do. So the way that we access this tool is again from our Grand Rapids Public Library website, and then going to the research dropdown, and then to foundations and grants. And that will take you to the Candid tool. So looking at this, we can see a bunch of different kinds of things that we can search in the advanced search function, right? So looking at the first idea that we can look at in the upper left is our mission focused fields. So you've got your subject focus, your population, and your geographic area served, right? Now, one of the things that you can kind of do as you search through this tool and use this tool is, again, you can broaden and narrow the search kind of as you see fit. And basically, what you really want to do is engage with the different subject areas, so that way you understand exactly what you're seeking out and what kinds of grants and funders that you will be returning in your search, right? So earlier we were talking about the kinds of so we are looking for. So earlier when we were talking about different literacies, one of the things that we were talking about was adult literacy. And we were also talking about the subject area of reading promotion. And so right now, you see that two in the upper right-hand side, you can see that we have that particular subject, those particular subjects selected. So what this means is that your search is going to return grants and grantors that are given in those areas and organizations that are tagged with those terms. And you'll return all of those at once, right? And so when you're thinking about the Venn diagram, this is an OR function. So you can either get a result that has either adult literacy or reading promotion. So you're drawing in both of those two, right? And then if we look at our geographic area, obviously here in Grand Rapids, we are in Kent County. So we can look at Kent County in the United States, and we can see, all right, well, that's the geographic area that we want to serve, right? And so now we can actually go in. So one of the things that we talked about during the presentation was grant makers not accepting applications, right? So again, it's not necessarily that search is that those terms are useless to us or that those organizations are useless to us, but it is to say that if we're searching for a grant that would be able to do that, we would be looking to exclude those organizations that don't accept applications, and you could do so here, right? And so now I can apply these filters and I can see all of the organizations that operate in Kent County and fall under those subjects. So right now we've got Skillman Foundation, the Davenport Fund, the Hastings Mutual Insurance, and the Grand Rapids Community Foundation. And so right now we can delve into that and we can see, all right, there is a bunch of information about the Grand Rapids Community Foundation that we can find here. In addition to their own documents, their mission, background, and things of that nature, we can also see, all right, well, where have they given grants in these areas, right? And so we can see that they have actually given to one of our neighbors, the Literacy Center of West Michigan, which is right across the street, where if y'all are a trainer over there, I'll actually be speaking in 2 hours from now. So looking forward to that. But as you can see, you've got the Literacy Center was given money for in the amount of $500 in fiscal year 2022, and this was a cash grant. You can go in and view that grant and get a little more information about that in terms of we were looking at adult literacy and reading promotion in Kent County, and that was for children and youth and low income people. And then you can see, oh, well, the Literacy Center is particularly an organization that promotes reading for ESL students in the region. So where else have they gotten grants? So you're able to go here and you can kind of see the grants that they have available. And if you're interested in seeing all the grants they've received, you can actually X out these delimiters. So right now you can see that they have gotten in this database, they've accounted for $6,500,000 worth of grants. Okay. Over 294 grants from 63 funders. And the average grant size that they received was a little bit over $22,000. Right. And you're able to go through and see, all right, well, where have they actually gotten these grants? And one of them being the Heart of the West Michigan United. So they've actually gotten grants from all over the place. And if these organizations are interested in giving to this organization and your organization is, say, working in the ESL space, these organizations might be a good fit for what you're trying to do. So you're not only doing searching from a grant maker perspective, but you're also able to do search from the opposite end, from the grants perspective and the other organizations that are trying to solve the problems or working in the arenas to solve the problems that you're trying to solve. So, and right now we're going to put Steve on the hot seat, I think, because what was your name again? Khadijah. Khadijah is going to be our demo, and we'll see if I can do a good job or fall flat on my face. So it's very exciting here in the library. So Khadijah, where are you coming?
So I serve as the executive director for the Sloan Foster Care Association.
Tell me a little bit about that. So what kind of work do you do?
So basically, we advocate for foster youth that are in the system, whether they're on the domestic side or on the refugee side. We do cultural competency.
We do education workshops for agencies and staff, anyone that's working wraparound services for these youth. We do for help with recruitment, for education, about foster care, the need for fostering in the community. We have quite a few programs that range from like a comfort pack for when the child enters the system to giving them gifts during the holidays to halal meat service to make sure that their HAPITs subsidized food. Financial assistance, helping them with housing.
Very cool. So is there a particular program that you're seeking out grants in or?
Yeah, so something that we're about on the launch is a lot of the youth are aging out in the system and funding is limited for that. So those that want to pursue higher ed or some kind of vocational training, we are looking to start a scholarship program for them. And these would be the youth that are coming out of our mentorship program.
And where have you sought out grants so far?
So we are mainly private donations. We have been in the grant space, not so lucky, I guess. Went to a couple of foundations, like a Trent Kellogg, a couple of the Michigan ones. I think there was a Henry Ford one that we tried.
So, and where have you, and when you were prospecting those grants, were you using this kind of resource or were you just going by word of mouth?
So yes and no. I been playing with Candid for a while, but I mean, I guess not. I'm knowing exactly how to use it. Probably isn't using it efficiently enough.
Okay. And do you have a specific amount that you're going for?
Uh, I mean, honestly, if we could get an infusion to start with of like 100 grand, that would be great.
Okay. All right. So, and now this is kind of indicative of why we do things over consultation, right? Because like when I'm at the desk and someone says, "Oh, I have a question," like, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's very hard to like sit and actually listen. And that's really the first part of this process, right? Is because now you can see my page of notes. Uh, and it's really important to me as the library professional that I understand not only what you're looking for, but like where you've been. So I'm not showing you things that you've already seen and doing things that you've already done. And I kind of got that from working with entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs are very bad, or very, how do I put this? They definitely don't want their time wasted. And I want to be as valuable as possible. So kind of getting that deep understanding. Also, it's really interesting to hear people's stories and like what they're working on and how they're trying to make change in a community. And that way, when I do search in here, I can kind of serve them. Uh, so the first thing that I would think about when doing this kind of search. So let's X this out real quick. So thinking of specific populations, right? So I think in terms of religious groups, I would think of Muslims as obviously as this is a particularly Islamic organization, right? So, and I think that one of the things that I would be thinking about was, as you have a really robust Muslim community in the city of Grand Rapids, but there are a lot more centers of power of people that follow the Islamic faith all across the United States. So, especially if you're looking for a grant that big, you're probably going to be going outside of West Michigan specifically, maybe to the Detroit area, maybe to the coasts. But I think that this story is really important, and I think that when you're thinking about foster care, uh, that I would be surprised if there wasn't a national organization that would specifically speak to, right? So one of the things that I would initially just try and do is see if we could pull in from Michigan itself rather than just West Michigan. Now, do you serve the entire state or is it just okay? Because that would be the first thing that I would see. And let's see what we bring back. Okay, so we've got 2,000 organizations that are that have that serve that particular population and are serve the state of Michigan on some level, right? Okay, so we can narrow that. We can work with that. So that's when you're thinking about results, that's really where you want to start is that broad kind of that. Obviously, if you get exactly what you need immediately, then great. Then I've done my job perfectly and we can all go home. But usually when we're thinking about, okay, what are we trying to do? Going to this little bit further afield and then narrowing down and see what the search will do, I think is really important. So now we can go back to our filters and we'll say, all right, well, we definitely want to exclude grant makers not accepting applications. We can see that. And then we'll look at, let's see here. So let's see if we can pull in something that follows the foster care system as well. So I think that's what's tripping us up is specifically for foster care. So I think that would probably be, we'll exclude that one. And so right now we've got 324 results right now. If we're looking at we serve the state of Michigan, and we serve a Muslim population, right? And so I think that we can go in. Let's see. And I also think, all right, so then we'll look at this way. And is there anything else? So with the children that you're seeing that are coming up in the system, are they are they primarily girls? Are they primarily boys? Like, is there anything you can speak to that way?
Okay, so majority are male.
Mhm.
Uh, and they're older youths, so they're almost, kind of graduating high school, looking to pursue, higher ed or careers and things like that.
Okay. Arms.
Can I ask a
And
quick question?
so
So I know we filtered for Michigan, but I was we're noticing that a lot of them on the results or national. Is that in some set thing that there's no Michigan?
well, it's because what I was filtered for specifically was the geographic focus, right? So the geographic focus and the actual geography are two different things. So when you're thinking of, uh, and when you're thinking of all things being equal, if something is in your area and has the geographic focus of your area, then that makes it a better hit. But if you're able to get a geographic focus of the region that you're in good shape, right? Because there are a lot of organizations that serve from outside the actual geographic region. Uh, and because like a company, for example, might set up like a corporate giving program or a foundation that would serve in, let's say you're headquartered in Kent County, but you have a plant in like Macon, Georgia, and you might do things down there. So that will be the. And here's another question: are there any other organizations that are doing anything similar to what you're trying to do?
Not for the instead trying to work with. There are a few, but they're not as specific as we know.
Okay, who are they? Do you know?
There's an organization called Muslim Family Services, and they also have a division that deals with fostering and adoption. But I think beyond them, Splitter. Uh, like one more question. So when we put it for foster care, I saw the child welfare came up. Would that be something?
Possibly, yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna clear these filters. Then we're gonna see. Is that Muslim Family Services? Oh, so it's particular states?
Yeah, so they have different chapters throughout. So there's a national chapter and then it's up the state chapters. I think one thing also to point out is that even though our focus primarily is also foster youth, if we are approached by like for youth, that's not also you know deny.
Oh,
It's just that's all.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, I want to see because what I so this is so that so again this is kind of speaks to niche, right? So when you're thinking about like okay, who is kind of trying to solve the like who's interested in solving that problem, this can be and this can also speak to how the organization kind of works and how they think about stuff, right? So like for example, going into Muslim Family Services of Ohio when you're thinking like, oh, okay, well, they do have a foster program. But in terms of the focus that they have in the database, it's immigrant and refugee services. So that might be a better way to search for us, right? And so looking at their grants, okay. So, well, Because I would see, so I'm looking at these and there are national organizations. Okay, the PayPal Giving Fund, American Endowment Foundation. Okay. Okay. Because I am seeing there are some, okay, Network for Good. So what I'm thinking is that, okay, the database is not good at classifying what you're trying to do, which is why you keep hitting this wall. But this organization, I think, is like, if they're, if you're working through this, the first thing I'm thinking is like, okay, who's comparable, right? And even if, and it's again, it's just like I talked about in the presentation, like the dichotomy of like what you actually say you fund, right? Which is always incomplete, and what you actually fund. So if you're seeing national organizations, because I know like JP Morgan Chase, for example, they give in Michigan because they have areas of company operations in the state of Michigan. United Way, obviously we have Dan. So thanks Dan for coming to, West Michigan United Way. If the United Way is giving, they're obviously a really robust national organization. If they're giving in Ohio for this kind of a thing, they're probably able to give in Michigan for this kind of a thing, right? So that's the thing I would be working with, because right now I'm just like you were seeing, I'm not seeing a good from those initial searches, but I think from looking at organizations that are like that, I think would be a good deal. I would also be looking at Islamic Relief USA. Like I think that because there has to be organizations out there that are based in terms of like that would be interested in funding this kind of thing, right? And I think that if we're looking for something that's not well classified, they would be able to help us try and find, okay, well, what would be a good fit, right? And like, what does the landscape of Islamic giving in the United States? And I think that would be a way that I would be thinking about this as well. So that makes sense.
Can't find what I'm looking for. I could go into an organization that's similar for Tuite and then
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Even in Ohio. And I do have a theory that Ohio and Michigan are very similar. It's like two siblings, and that's why we hate each other so much. But anyway, that's any Michigander I have told that theory to has been very angry with me. So anyway, that's just my yeah, lovely city. It's like I went to Cleveland just the other day. Lovely people. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess it's like we have to hate each other when U of M plays Ohio State. So, any but that would be the way that I would go about navigating that particular query, right? Because the more that you can, and it's that, and just like and I would think that like when you're thinking of, I have to believe that an organization like yours would find purchase in like the Muslim community in the United States, and finding a good national contact that would be able to tell you like, oh, these are like the next step that I would be taking is I would be looking at like CARE or something like that. That's the Council of Thank you very much. And saying like, okay, do they have a library? Do they have a librarian? Do they have like staff that understand like the nonprofit environment? And I would be reaching out to them too, because you kind of have to be for something as unique as this, and especially with the amount that you're looking for, you would need that relationship anyway. And the more that you can build off of that, the better you'll be. And that's one of the things why I think this is a perfect example of why kind of a, uh, seeking out like and talking to people and talking to librarians is so important, because you can start to think more outside the box rather than like, okay, well, this tool is broken. It's like, yeah, well, in this particular sense, yeah, it is broken, but we have other options that we can pursue in those human to human contacts that might be able to get us what we need. No, you actually have to be here at the library, unfortunately. No, you could be at any one of our branches. As long as you are connected to our Wi-Fi on your device, you're in good shape. Oh, and the question is, can you use your library card to log into Candid remotely? And the answer is unfortunately no. But as long as you're on our Wi-Fi, you can go hog wild. It is. So it's the only grant. It's not the only tool that we have about grants, but it's the only grant seeking tool that we have. So we have different resources that can help you write grants, run a nonprofit well, and stuff like that. But we believe that this is the best tool that we can provide for this particular purpose. So yeah, if you can look at this map here and you can see where all of the publicly available uh, uh, Candid sites are. So we have a lot of them in Southeast Michigan. We've got a few branches in the middle of the state, and we're kind of a little bit lonely out here in West Michigan, unfortunately. Um, I mean, obviously, fortunately for us, because we love to see y'all, but unfortunate for the grant making world of the region. So we can do interlibrary loan from any libraries. So there's a couple of things. So the first thing, if you're doing research on the grant seeking world and things like that, and there's a resource that you want in print, chances are we can get that. So one of the things that we're kind of blessed with in Michigan is we have a very robust interlibrary loan service that is both statewide and covers special, public, and university libraries. So you can pull books from U of M, you can pull books from MSU, you can pull books from special libraries, you can pull books from us, and you can get them sent all across the state. It's very cool. It's called our MEL service. And if you go to mel.org, you can use your Grand Rapids Public Library card to make requests from all across the state. And obviously, we're more than happy to make those requests for you here at the library. We also, if you're looking for original research, like an article or something like that, we could do something called a super loan. A super loan allows us to get different articles and things like that from institutions, again, not only from all across the state, but around the world, around the country. And you do need to talk to a staff member to do that. And I'm more than happy to do that for you. And you can get pretty much any as long as it's in OCLC, which is the kind of catalog to end all library catalogs that libraries across the country and the world maintain. If it's in there, we can probably get it. So one of the things to remember is that we at the Grand Rapids Public Library try to be a research hub for the region. That's why we have the collections that we do. That's why we have the depth that we do. And that's why we have people that are subject specialists like myself that specialize in specific kinds of research and tools that can help. Actually, the MEL service provides us with not only our interlibrary loan service in print materials, but also a wide variety of databases that we use quite frequently. So in the business space, we actually have access to the database A to Z, which is a really awesome demographics and business list database. A lot of our digital NOLO materials come from like Small Business Reference Center, which is another database in that space. Uh, and those you can access not only with your Grand Rapids Public Library card, but also with your driver's license across the state. That's another thing. If you are looking for education and things like that, as long as you have a driver's license, you can access all of the statewide digital resources through MEL. And it's again, we're really proud to have that as a library system, as a state. No, any Grand Rapids public library. So it's a little bit confusing because we kind of seamlessly go in and out of each other because you can use a KDL card here at the Grand Rapids Public Library and vice versa. But we are a separate system than the Kent District Library. So they're the county system and we're the city system. And thank you all for everybody who's joining us online. And if you and I'm sure Holland will forward my contact information and all the digital materials that all the material that we were working with today. So that way, if you have any questions after today, more than happy to help you out, no matter where you're coming from. I heard we have someone in Canada and I hope that y'all found this presentation useful and that you are successful in your mission of getting the grants will make the change you want to see in your communities as well.